the reason I bring up MKP, because I'd like to explore it just a little bit, but also I imagine you've been a seeker in your life.
Yeah, I found that with that early therapy experience,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the stuff I've observed around some mysticism and Christianity and in other forms, that there was this thing that not everybody could sense or perceive or apprehend. There was things going on in the human experience that were profound, and I was hungry for those things.
For you.
And I think the study of psychology was definitely part of it. Music, definitely a part of it. Wield the mighty sounds, to make people feel things. And then MKP, the way it came up is this was February 99. So I was fairly broke. We owned SugarHill, but I'm doing all the stuff I like to do. And we're just kind of like learning to live with whatever money we have. Mm-hmm. And my brothers, Bill and Tom, they come to me and go, hey, we've done this thing and we really would like you to do it. And
you're sober by now.
Yeah. I got sober originally in 94, had a very short relapse. And then
was that before SugarHill stuff?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Sure. SugarHill. I got sober. Literally, I was put into rehab 12/31/93, the last day, New Year's Eve of 1993. And by the end of 94, I was at SugarHill renting space from the previous owners.
Studio C? Were you up in C?
Studio B.
Studio B.
Yeah.
Just FYI, SugarHill is a recording studio in Houston. Yeah. It's still there, right?
It's still there. It's
still called SugarHill.
The longest continuously operating recording studio, as far as we know, in the United States.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And MKP stands for Mankind Project.
Right.
Okay.
So my brothers approached me. I'm sober. Things are starting to happen. Matter of fact, 99 is the inflection point in my music career for my second ascendancy. The first one was ruined by drugs. That's a great story, but we're not going to talk about it now. So MKP gets rolled at me. My brothers had gone through the initiation. They wanted me to do it too. Mm-hmm. And they said, we know you probably don't have any money, so we'll pay for it, or give us $10 and we'll pay for the rest. So I did it, and I went through the initiation, and it was both exactly what I thought it was going to be and totally unlike anything I'd ever experienced. Mm-hmm. I had been to a men's retreat with my father that some of the MKP guys put together about before I was sober and after my dad got sober. And it was just nuts. Both of us like drove away from that weekend going like, who were those people? Like the seeds were not hitting fertile soil at that point in time. But I kind of thought, oh, it's going to be kind of like that, but it's going to make more sense. It's going to be better arranged. And it's exactly what it was. And I even recognized some of the people there. And MKP to me, like that journey to me was about acknowledging that I am still comprised of what makes a primitive man. I kind of want to fight and fuck, and that I have been kind of not given the opportunity to use those urges, drives, tendencies in helpful, useful ways for several reasons. One, there's not many people that model that in our culture, and number two, our culture is kind of damped down the need for those types of skills, mm-hmm. And so the idea behind MKP was that you get back in touch with these things. You no longer demonize that part of yourself. You allow mm-hmm. it to come out. And as a result, you're a much happier, male, and you find your way in the world a lot better, and you develop integrity, which was, I knew from the 12 steps, this is important. Just doing the shit you say you're going to do.
Yeah, accountability.
At 100%, which is like pretty fucking low in male culture in our world. It's like, yeah, I'll get back to you. Yeah, there's just this incredible veneer of different lies that you tell that are just understood to be, I'm not going to do that. But this is the point in the conversation where I tell you that I will.
Yeah.
I needed that. My wounds around my dad and my mom. You can be brutal with me, but if I know, I feel a lot more secure than if, I have to figure out the layers of social nicety mm-hmm. and someone else's shame showing up in a conversation. I don't even know what's going on, but it's putting me further away from that person. So I loved it. I love the simplicity of it. I found that my journey in MKP, which the trajectory is after the training to stay with a group of men and to
An I group, yeah.
to stay in that learning environment, and then also to make yourself of service to train more men.
Yeah.
And I found that I was not going to be the guy that trained more men.
Right.
It was not sort of like the way I was wired. I knew I was taking MKP out in the world because I was living different and talking different and behaving different. And so I thought, okay, well, here's my path. This is cool. And now it's stunning to me. But of the men I'm closest to and know me the best, there are people that went through MKP and not necessarily with me. And it's just my very best friend. I mean, I don't want to use names and stuff because I don't want to link people. And here you are.
Yeah.
Here you fucking are.
Well, you got a brick there.
Yeah.
Land of my grandfathers, you got a brick there with your brothers, didn't you? With your name on it.
Yeah. But when did Phil decide to tell me about MKP? This was a phone conversation that we had, and I don't remember if it was direct or sideways or what. I don't know if we intended to talk about this. I just don't remember. Yeah. But my memory is that I was driving back from Kerrville, pretty much on the Kerrville side of San Antonio, where it's kind of
on your motorcycle.
No, not on my motorcycle, on my car, and I'm talking to you on the phone, and this comes up, and it's sort of like you're trying to tell me about this cool thing you did, and I just kind of gave you my animal name.
What's your animal name?
It's Raccoon.
You're Raccoon.
Yeah, I started out as Trusting Raccoon, then those issues went away, and now I'm just Raccoon.
You're just Raccoon.
Yeah.
I'm Kind Fox.
Aw, you so are. You are. I'm a raccoon. I'll just get in trouble. I'm not even trying to get in trouble.
I like raccoon.
Unscrewing shit and, taking things apart.
Were there other frameworks or modalities that you went in deep like you did with MKP?
Sure.
Whether
it's the 12-step.
The 12-step, of course. Yeah, huge.
Yeah, because it provides this sort of, this design for living that is, once you get past step one, it's no longer about the substance, right? It's about all the ways that you sort of were like learning to live while being dependent on something. And then also gradually shutting down the feedback that you're getting from the world that like, this may not be a very good thing for you to do, but it becomes a bargain you're willing to make, to be addicted and to manage your feelings and stuff. So once you get past step one, it's all about sort of like integrity, cleaning up your side of the street, becoming open to the idea that there is a power greater than you, and that you might want to humbly invoke that, whatever it might ever be, to help you, because there's certain energy that's available. And it uses antiquated words like God, but I belong to a huge, I think now, super majority of people in AA where God is, you're free to have any God you want, or none whatsoever.
Yeah.
As long as you're not the most powerful thing in the universe, that's the deal. Because it's like creativity. Once you learn that you can put this thing to your lips and drink, and there change the entire world, you are the most powerful thing on the planet, and it is seductive and will lead people to death. It is unreal once you start to understand it. And it's very much like the creative thing, except it is a hard wire straight to your pleasure center. So there's not a lot of discrimination that takes place after a certain level of involvement with substances to manage your life in a self-directed way that involves euphoria. Yeah. Not a good combination for some people. And for people in my family, it turned out to not be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that gave me a great sort of like, set of tools, way of experiencing life, and really even spiritual tools, like being able to look at something that scares the fuck out of me, that I can't avoid, and remind myself, it's been okay up until now. I've figured every single thing out, or I've had the solution appear every single time up until now. That'll probably be okay. I probably shouldn't worry about it.
What's your spiritual lens now?
It's really interesting because I've allowed myself to to kind of roam far and free. I mentioned the Crazy Christians earlier, and I did about 7 years of intense adjacent work to Crazy Christianity. What I did is I took on the frame of understanding the New Testament as I think it was originally intended, like the first, second century Christian. There's no church, there's no pope, there's no place to gather. There's just people trading this information. And with it, the big news is that you didn't need anybody between you and God.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how the Pope thing worked out, but you didn't, like, this was available to you. And by the way, if you are the dispossessed or the people that are ignored or that don't have things, you actually have a leg up, because you're going to see the picture much clearer than those that are like surrounded by the world's successes, whether that's money or power or what have you. And so I became very interested in this message and found some people that wrote about it. And it was great. And being adjacent to the crazy Christians gave me sort of an outlet to kind of, do that thing. But I was never going to live there. Like it was a wonderful place to visit and to do a deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that the people that I kind of loved in that scene, like they were surrounded with a lot of boundaries that I didn't have. And not necessarily bad ones, but I wanted to find something that I felt was a spiritual experience that is available to anyone, that you don't need esoteric knowledge. And in the 12 steps, I kind of found it. And that is like, try it out. Just try to allow things to happen. And that if you don't know and you're worried, entertain the idea that it'll come to you. And then also pay attention, because if you sort relax a little bit and start looking around you, there are things that will tell you where to go, what's going on. There are signs and wonders.
So spirituality is kind of a beginner's mind, or curiosity and open-mindedness, but also an awareness to
how things can influence me. Like, for instance, if I had not been a sober man, sort of like open to the idea that big things could come to me in weird packages, your comment to me would not have meant quite as much. I would have been flattered, and I would have thought I scored one with Phil.
the comment about the bass,
Yeah.
the bass lick.
Yeah, but it hit me at this place. It was like, my left brain, right brain
I was the
glitch
universe
thing.
saying,
Yeah,
like,
it was like you're great. You're great doing you're great with the glitch. And it was shortly thereafter, around that 3 or 4 year period, where I realized I'm an 11-trick pony. I know 11 tricks musically, and they are very, very good tricks. I am not God's gift to playing guitar. I am not God's gift to being a producer, and I am not God's gift to being a recording engineer, but I'm pretty fucking good at all of them. And I think the thing that makes me a little bit different is that I just kind of always am curious about what could be better. What can we try here?
Mm-hmm.
And I seem to have a good sense of, this person's not ready to hear this. That would not be helpful. Just because my idea is the right one, it does not mean that I need to say it, and I need to say it right now. And so I got really good at that. So like pushing people within their ability to perform, because that's where it kind of goes wrong. Yeah. Helping them. So I was basically taking these kind of tools for me to kind of like learn how to live life and to be engaged and excited by it.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's mysteries out there. Mysteries aplenty. Dude, we do not know why photosynthesis works as well as it does.
Oh, there's a lot more that we don't know. We know so little. The big masturbatory experience of living right here in the 21st century is that we know so much, but everything we know only causes 2 questions to be asked. Oh yeah.
It's turtles all
the way down, baby.
Down.
I agree.
So once you accept that, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah.
And I often say that with my patients and with my sponsees in AA. It's like, when you can get to the place where it's a shit sandwich, it's bad. It's like, ugh, I can't wait to see what happens next. And like really conjure a little bit of, I'm true. I really want this to be over with. This sucks right now. It just opens up so much. So integrity, curiosity, humility.
Grace with uncertainty.
Oh, you're putting in nicer words than I would. Those things, if you can kind of keep them at the forefront of your experience, and I don't know. For me, I think the humility part is hard because I'm right a lot. And people are like often amazed at how right I am in certain ways, So I have to like really remember I may not be right, or me being wrong may be the thing that's best.
Maybe being wrong is right.
Well, I tell that to my patients the very first day. I said, there will be times where I make a mistake with you. And I said, but if we're doing therapy right, that mistake will lead to the solution.
That's what needs to happen.
And that's how Phil fails.
Phil fails. When I fail, I succeed.
That's exactly right.
And when I succeed, I will have failed enough.
Well, you know what you have done. You've invited people formally into the space where you can fail.
And being imperfect. Let's mess up.
It is a prerequisite.
Let's let lights shut off in the middle.
Let's let lights shut off. Let's let me say things that I will totally fucking like think about. Go, did I really say that?